So I know you've just played Noah on Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Have you played any of the series before you started acting as Noah?
No, no. In fact, I'd never played a JRPG. When I was younger, I was the like Sonic, GoldenEye. I remember the Dreamcast coming out and thinking it was going to be the coolest thing ever. And I think Soul Calibur was on the Dreamcast. Like I
Yeah.
have these kind of very specific gaming memories.
Well,
Um,
Dreamcast was amazing. I mean, I remember I was in uni when that thing came out. I bought it. I bought it on sale. It was like only 100. They did a price drop, and then Shenmue was the reason I bought it. I don't know if you heard of
oh,
that one.
cool. No, I haven't. I mean, I didn't have much. Just I never had much disposable income growing up, and so gaming was something I couldn't really afford to do. The first thing I ever bought with my own money that I saved up for was a Game Boy. A game. Now this is stupid. A Game Boy Color and Pokemon Red. And the guy in the shop was like, "You do realize it's a black and white game, and you're buying a Game Boy Color?" And I was like, yes, I do realize." I think I was about 9 or 10, and I got the see-through one where you could see all the wires, and I just thought
Yeah.
it was the coolest thing ever. And actually, recently, I say recently, holy shit, 9 years ago, I was doing a series of plays for the Royal Shakespeare Company, and I didn't have very much to do in one of the plays, so I went on Amazon or eBay and I bought an old Game Boy, and I bought Pokemon Red again, and I used to play it in between scenes backstage. Um, but my gaming kind of was there for a really long time. I had a PS2, and I'm a football fan, like an English football fan. So
Yeah.
I play a lot of FIFA and I play a lot of that sort of stuff. And then I started watching Let's Plays. I used to love watching Let's Plays on YouTube of things like the Third Age Total War that people would do. Um, and I watched someone playing a game called This War of Mine. I got really into that for a while. And things like, I don't even know what you describe it as, but it's a game called Sunless Sea. And it's a sort of almost like a choose your own adventure game. And I always really loved the stories of games. I've never played an online. I think I played Fortnite maybe twice, but I don't like playing online games. I don't like that feeling of having to interact with the world. I like tiny little. I like just being able to explore something completely by myself. So although I'm terrible at these games, my kind of gaming um, instincts are towards things like Witcher, Assassin's Creed, although I didn't shamefully. I bought Syndicate, and then shamefully I didn't buy another one until I was in one. Um, Not because I didn't like them, but because I'm actually not very good at games. The whole kind of Japanese gaming and animation culture was something I just didn't know that much about. And and of course I think I can say that when you're with all games that you're working on, they're all under working titles. So you don't know what you're working on. And then once I kind of realized what I was working on, I watched like some playthroughs of Xenoblade Chronicles 1. But by that point, it's far too late. Like I can't and that's when you trust your director and you trust the writing and all those kind of brilliant things. What I just couldn't believe was the depth of storytelling. It just blows me away, the depth of storytelling. The fact that, if you're working on a sort of a Western game, and I hope I can use those terms without
Yeah.
painting with too broad a
No,
brush.
they usually have the Western RPGs,
Right.
which originally came influenced from Dungeons and Dragons, and then you have your JRPG, Japanese role playing games, and a lot of them are famous for having that emotional storytelling as well. So
Yeah, this was the thing that blew me away, was that if you're recording a conversation, you just get the lines of dialogue in something like, Assassin's Creed, or if you're playing a game like The Witcher or whatever, and they're like, oh, this dialogue happens during a battle. And you go, oh, okay, it's a little cutscene in a battle. Maybe it's 3 lines long. It's like, listen, we need to move quickly. Okay, we'll move quickly. Let's move. And there's nothing wrong with that, but that was what I was used to. And then there'll be like a 20-minute cutscene about the nature of love and life and loss. And it's in the middle of a battle. And that just, as an actor, it's so exciting to get to play something like that, to get to do something like that. The hours that you put into working on a game like this, it's like being in like 25 films. The amount of material that you're dealing with, the opportunities you have to for the characters to grow and change and surprise you, just blow me away. And having come to it completely cold, I'm now, I don't think you could call me a fan of the genre because I haven't earned that yet. I bought myself a Switch and I bought myself Xenoblade Chronicles 3, but like I haven't like put the time and the I haven't put the time in, I haven't put the money in and the hours in to, know which graphic novels maybe I should start reading, or which anime I should start watching. But I am so excited by the world of it, and I'm so ridiculously proud and thrilled to be part of such an iconic, I don't really like the word franchise, a series, an iconic series within it. It's been amazing learning about it.
So, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 was recently reviewed on RP Gamer. The editor-in-chief actually reviewed it, and well, he gave it a perfect score. And the RPG fan, they also gave it something close to 100 points. You've probably seen some of the comments about like this game was like it really, you get finished with it, and like you said, there's a lot of philosophy. There's a bit. It makes you think about the ending and the events that happened, and you take that story with you long after you beat it. I mean, how does that make you feel with all these comments and people saying they felt a nice emotional impact and the reviews?
It's amazing. It's genuinely amazing. As actors, you can have a very, very high opinion of yourself in terms of what you do and like the good of what you do and the impact of what you do. And this isn't true for all actors, but for a lot of us, like me included, I act because I love it first. Like I'm not saving lives. I'm not on the front line again in the COVID pandemic. I'm not defending innocent civilians. I'm not teaching. I'm not putting out fires. I'm not making sure that people have got roads to drive on. The thing you're hoping for the most is that somewhere someone will feel a little bit less alone because of the work that you've done. Like that's the best you can hope for. And to be, I mean, I am on the fringes of the Xenoblade world. There are people who've been in it since the like Xenogears, the original
Xenogears.
stuff. There are people who've been with this series for a really, really long time, and I'm just coming into it. I'm so proud to be part of it. I'm so proud and so relieved as well that people have responded to it well. And just to put the reviews to one side for a second, the fan response for me, just like on my own social media, has been extraordinary and so like universally beautiful and kind and supportive and enthusiastic. And you do realize that you're like, wow, I'm part of something that means something to people. That's the most rewarding part of it, is going, I am part of something that means something to people. Other than I think the musical I did when I was 18, this is the project I've been involved in that has had the best critical response. The thing I want to do more than anything as an actor is games. I have been fully bitten by the gaming bug. I love it so much. And therefore, kind of even from my own career point of view, I'm going, oh my gosh, this is working. Like I'm in something and people are responding to the work and the world of everyone involved in it. And that is a really incredible experience. And sometimes you do stuff that fans love and critics hate. And sometimes you do stuff that critics love and fans don't exist for. And to be in something that has brought both of those things together is the sort of experience that doesn't get repeated. I mean, I've been an actor for 15 years. And like I said, this is probably only the second time it's happened, like to this level. I mean, Last Kingdom we have an incredible fan base. And we're very well reviewed. I'm not trying to in any way do down the response we had from the Last Kingdom, certainly not from our amazing fans. But this is in terms of that synergy of critical response and critical accolades and love from a fan base, particularly an already existing fan base, which rightly has very high standards for this series and for this world, because they've put hundreds of hours into it by now. They've put more hours into it than me by being a part of it and interacting with that world and buying it and supporting it and loving it. And it is tremendously exciting.
I'm happy for you hearing all that. I mean, What do your parents say about all this?
They fully don't get games.
Yeah.
like my, you know, like my parents have always been immensely supportive, and I was very, very lucky that I was always told. My dad was a chef actually when I was growing up, and my parents told me I could be anything I wanted in the world apart from a chef. So they have encouraged me in everything I've ever done, and they are very proud of me on a lot of lovely levels, and they are excited about how excited I am about being in games. I don't think my parents have ever played a game in their lives. They used to, I remember, you know, like growing up, their lack of understanding of games can be exemplified in this. I remember as a kid wanting to play Age of Empires before I went to bed or before dinner, and my mum being like, you can play for 20 minutes.
You can't play Age of Empires for 20 minutes.
For 20 minutes. There is literally no point. My mum used to help me design the houses in Sims, because she would talk to me about how, like, practically a bathroom and a kitchen should be put together, which makes my mum sound like she was you know, much more domestically minded than she is. She's always had her own career. My wife and I used to design Sims houses together when we were first together, and that was a pretty good indication that we were compatible, because we both had a secret love of The Sims.
Go on.
Well, you know, but you know what it is? Again, it's that sort of thing where, as absurd as it may sound, whether it's The Sims or Xenoblade or Pokemon Red, to me, the story, the fun thing about all of these is they all have a story and a narrative. That's why I've never got the online gaming thing quite so much. You know, when I play FIFA, I only play the career mode where you're the manager, or you build yourself as a player. And I try to give myself as a player a satisfying career path. So, you know, I'll start with my friend Tobias, who plays Ragnar in The Last Kingdom. I'll start, and Jeppe, who plays Heston, their favorite team in Norway is a team called Vålerenga. And I'll always like start in Vålerenga, or I'll start in a low league English team that I have some kind of tenuous connection to, so that I can create a satisfying narrative. And there was a very low point about maybe 6 years ago, about 3 a.m, when my wife came in from the bedroom. She was like, I was in the living room, I was playing FIFA, and she was like, are you talking to someone? And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I'll go back to sleep. And the next morning at breakfast, all shamefaced, I was like, I was doing press conferences, and she went, I know you were. I want the story. I love story. And so even in something like The Sims, trying to kind of getting them a career and furnishing their house, it's story, and I just love storytelling.
So you filled out their bio and their backstory on the little
100%. And I was probably only 11 or 12 when I started playing it, maybe a little bit older than that. And I thought that it was going to have an impact. So I'm kind of writing things like, you know, he always sleeps in a little later than he'd like to, thinking this is going to manifest itself in the code somehow. Shows you how ignorant I was. But yeah, anything like that, anything with a story, I go mad for.
Pokemon Red as your first game, because that actually counts as a JRPG, believe it or not.
Oh, does it?
You were in it from day one. You were in it from day one. Don't sell yourself short.
And I still, I mean, I played it again quite recently. Like last year, I was playing it again. I just love it. It's the most comforting thing in the world to me. It feels like those days where you're ill off school, but not really that ill. You're sort of you've got a bit of a cold, sitting on the sofa and playing Pokemon and and having soup is, I think, maybe one of my favorite ways to spend time.
Well, how old were you when you got it?
I was the reason Pokemon cards got banned from my school, and I was in primary school. Yeah, this is bad. There was a rumor that this guy was stealing everyone else's cards, and I was a really good boy and a really nice boy, but for some reason I was convinced by the more popular people that we should, as an act of like restorative justice, steal his cards and distribute them equally around.
Oh no.
And so I would have been like 9 or 10. And then Pokemon cards were banned from the school. No one told him it was me. No one told anyone it was me. My secret was safe. I think I may have ended up feeling very guilty and telling him and getting him some cards. And then in a sort of karmic circle, I left all my cards in my shorts pocket, and they all went through the washing machine, and every single one of them was destroyed. So, I mean, I probably would have been 9 or 10 when the Pokemon thing was happening. And actually, I have nieces and nephews now who are sort of 9, 10, and they are really, really into Pokemon. And
So
I'm only aware of the Kanto region. I've discovered it's called the Kanto region, but I
yeah,
vaguely know what an Alolan Growlithe would be, and I'm familiar with some Mega Evolutions. But
yeah.
it's given me the most incredible social currency with the youngest members of my family to know what Pokemon is.
You know a lot more than I do. I think Pokemon was first came out. The original one came out when I was at the end of high school. So
Yeah, you kind of you're in. I mean, certainly for me at that age, I'm at the point anything from like 12 to 18. I was like, I'm too cool for whatever
oh,
that
I
thing is.
wanted to play it. It's
Oh,
just
really?
I wish. I mean, I wish it was around when I was young because I would have probably loved it just the same.
Yeah.
But I mean, no, I do have a lot of the originals. Just I'm a collector. I collect video games, so you probably should see my collection.
I mean it's a very good selection. I mean, you can't see my selection of stuff, but actually down, hang on, oh my god, I'm so bad at this. Down here, that way, you can
Okay, I
the
see
red
some.
spines. They're all my Dungeons and Dragons books down there.
Okay,
So, you know,
so
that's my form of a collection.